Yo, yo, yo. Hello, guys. How you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It's been a minute, huh? Yes. If you've been following me on Instagram, you know we spoke about Twitter. It's been in the news. It's something that I haven't really touched on lately because of many reasons. You guys know that I'm a big fan of Elon Musk on this channel. So I've been taking my time just to see what he's been trying to do and trying to understand from a business side what they're trying to achieve with Twitter. The first thing that I would say Elon has been doing, him and his crew, is these guys have been working. They haven't been playing games. They've been working. They've been trying to implement new ideas every single day. And it's something that's made a lot of people very uncomfortable, but it's something that's to be expected, especially if you are doing work, because people don't like change. People like things to remain the way they are. And sometimes people also like to see you fail. When Elon took on this challenge, it's something that a lot of people criticized because they thought, here comes another billionaire trying to take a product that people use and to use for their own good and do whatever they want to do. But the one thing that people often forget, include especially professors, is they forget that businessmen are in the business of making money. That's the only thing that drives them. People like Elon Musk, he might be a tech genius, he might be anything, but I think the one thing that has separated Elon Musk for me from a lot of these techpreneurs is he's a businessman at heart. Everything he does, there's strategy to it. Everything he does seems to work, and there's a reason the man is worth what is worth, and the success, it doesn't come as a joke. But then the challenge that you have is you have other people on the side of academia who not like this, because a lot of things that happen with academia is driven by a different set of morality, which quote unquote leaves a lot of them poor, in hindsight, because in order to make money you have to be willing to do certain things, which might not be from a popular, or things that morally people might not agree with. These are things such as selling a car that doesn't exist. When I saw that Elon was selling the Cybertruck, I was shocked. I thought, okay, fine. I was expecting maybe at least 1,000. In marketing, we have this term of a product where through the adoption of a product, in the beginning you have these people who are super fans who just buy anything new because they want to have the latest technology. So those are the people that I expected to pick up the Cybertruck. But when I realized that to date, I think I read somewhere they said there are over 1 million people who pre-ordered this Cybertruck, something that doesn't really exist. I was shocked. So he's not only managed to create and make electric cars cool, he's changed the way products are adopted in a system, in a market, because we have things like in music pre-sales and stuff like that, which has been going on. He's not creating something new here, but the thing that I feel Elon Musk has been able to do is prove how much humans are naive. Or there's a level of I don't understand what it is about us as people, but there's a thing that people are just willing to bet on the next thing. And I don't know. I guess if the price is right, people will pay for anything. When I look at the Cybertruck, I'm very critical of a lot of things. The car doesn't look pretty at all for me. It looks ugly. Like, I don't get the design. People will try it and say to me, "Oh, look at the lines. Look at this. It's so cool." I don't see it. So hence, I haven't placed my own pre-order. But as a student of the game, I love watching different businesses come up with different strategies to get people hooked in. So in this video, we're not here to talk about the Cybertruck. We're mainly here to talk about Twitter, my views and the things that I've just been looking at. When Elon Musk took over Twitter and they started talking about the $8 to get verified thing, I saw a lot of uproar on the internet, and people were complaining about this, saying the purpose of a check mark was always to show that this account is verified and belongs to a notable person. It belongs to a notable individual. So the purpose of these things was always to for that. That's what distinguished um, different groups of people, so that this is a celebrity, this is an actual account, not just a parody account where somebody just created it out of nowhere. And a lot of people, this thing became a status symbol as well, because if you're verified, it meant you met certain criterias on different platforms, right? On Instagram and places like that, or Twitter, whereby if you have a certain group of number of following, when you had a certain number of things, then they'll put in an effort to verify your account and make sure that you are a human being and that it is actually you. But then the thing that happened eventually is there's segregation that happens, right? Because the user experience of someone with a verified account and somebody without is a lot of people trusted what verified accounts said, right? Because for some reason, we tend to overvalue our celebrities and successful people and notable people in society as these people who know everything and control or have all the information or have a different understanding than we have, which always makes me laugh when I look at that, because a lot of times, celebrities, successful people, they're just people who pursue their dreams and succeeded. It's like an actor, somebody who grows up with the idea that I want to act and be in film, and then they do something, it becomes successful, they make a lot of money. All of a sudden, they become the voice of politics, they become the voice of reason, they become someone we look up to for a lot of things. But a lot of these people are just people like you and me who, you know, by hard work or luck or whatever it is that they did, they end up in a position that they end up in. And all of us, all of a sudden, start praising these people. So blue check marks created a problem for me in society, in that instead of them being a symbol that shows that, oh, this is the actual person, and then the rest of the accounts are fake accounts, are fan accounts, they became a status symbol, and they became something of an authoritative, that gave people like an authoritative position on social media. Hence, everybody wants one. So when Elon came in and was like, "Oh, we can actually charge you for this, and then this will give you certain perks, and then this will do certain things and help everybody get the blue check mark because this is a status symbol." A lot of people were against this because they're like, "No, we do not want this. Why would you do that? Here's corporate greed." But then the thing is, Twitter needs a way to make money like any other business. I remember in the 2010s, one of the things that a lot of these tech startups were pushing were, well, we're building it and we'll figure out how to make revenue in the future, which was an interesting thing for me because I come from a nation whereby in order to get investment from anybody, in order to get a loan from a bank, in order to do anything that involves you making money, you needed to have a proof of concept, you needed to have proof of revenue, you needed to have proof that somebody is willing to pay you for this. And the thing that happened with a lot of social media companies was, once they figured out that advertising was the model to go with, so you needed more numbers, and then the more numbers you have, the more data you have that you're able to sell to certain companies for advertising, that became their revenue model. But then there's a limit to that revenue model, because what happens is when you're faced with an economic downturn, in a situation that we found ourselves in right now, whereby you have something like a recession, the first thing that goes is marketing budget. So people stop advertising because it makes no sense, because people are not spending money. So everybody cuts their budget, and then this ultimately affects this platform. So like when we have a booming market, people do advertise, and these companies were making money. When you look at places like Facebook, Twitter, all these people were making money. But then the pandemic changed a lot of that, because now people were not really advertising, and the rise of influencers and all that changes the scope of the marketing landscape. So from a business perspective, Twitter hasn't been making money for the past few years. It's just been growing and living off of equity investments, right? So you knew that there's potential to Twitter, to how much money it can make based off of content. With the rise of content marketing and the information age that we live in, a platform like Twitter has a potential to become, hey, some even say $1 trillion company based off of an ecosystem that you can build from these platforms, because there's nothing that stops a company like Twitter from following the strategy of a company like WeChat. They can do it because it hasn't been done by other platforms. Companies like Meta, formerly Facebook, had this opportunity. If you look at the portfolio that Facebook has, it has the opportunity to grow. But a lot of, I think what Facebook suffered from was, again, they grew up too fast, and B, they didn't know what they were doing. They overvalued the thing that happened, because I think for Facebook, the biggest opportunity they had is they were able to connect people. When you have over a billion users, that's data that you can use to do whatever they wanted to do. And then instead of being ethical, they started doing shady stuff, right? Which is what ultimately led to the fall of Facebook. I haven't used my account, but I think marketplace is a good thing for Facebook. I just don't know how they'll monetize that. If they can monetize marketplace, I think that's a good revenue stream for Facebook. So hey, there goes an idea. um In going back to Twitter, when you look at what Elon has been doing, he's just been throwing ideas at a wall, looking for something that sticks and helps them create revenue. One of the challenges that he's had was the backlash, but the thing that was so funny for me was people were actually paying for getting verified on the platform, and that shows you that there is somebody who's willing to pay, and that can be your target customer. And this is proof. If you look at platforms such as LinkedIn, on LinkedIn, people get charged almost $20 to use LinkedIn Premium, or you can use the basic LinkedIn and get limited features from the platform, which is something that Twitter can do. And given the popularity of Twitter, you can see why people will be interested in doing this. But I think that Elon is going to face a lot of challenges because people don't really like change. People like things to remain the way they are. People are not, it's innate. We've had Twitter for the past decade, and it's been useful in a certain functional way, whereby you didn't have to pay for it. You didn't have to pay for anything, but all of a sudden you have to start paying $8 a month. The genius part is it's just $8. It's something that you can justify in your mind, like, oh yeah, it's just $8. But $8 adds up. That's eight times, 8 times 12, which gives you almost 96. If you say 96 times 100 million users, that's a lot of money for Twitter, which is good. But then the other challenge that I think Elon will face with this move is a lot of Twitter's users are not American. A lot of Twitter's users are international. And in other places, $8 is a lot of money. I come from Zimbabwe, and I don't think that when I was earning a salary of $300 a month, spending $8 to get a blue check would be something I would have done. However, if it provides an opportunity for me to make more money, then yeah, it's an investment that I'm willing to make. But I'm only looking at it from it's an investment that I'm doing in myself, which I don't really see if it's about a blue check mark. you know I don't really value online validation. I don't really value having a blue check mark. I think that somebody should be paid based off of the work that they do. But at the end of the day, in marketing, we say there's no such thing as bad marketing. So hey, having a blue check mark never hurt nobody. That's why it became a status symbol. So in today's video, the other thing that there has been a lot of things that have been going on through Twitter. So we'll be checking out a video from the Wall Street Journal, which says Elon Musk says Twitter bankruptcy is a possibility. Let's take a financial analysis of this. Let's get into it.
When Elon Musk purchased Twitter for $44 billion, he inherited a company that had not turned a profit for 8 of the past 10 years.
They were having trouble attracting new users. They were having trouble increasing the revenue.
It's tough to determine the state of Twitter's financial health now that it's a private company. But analysts have been able to piece together an assessment from the company's last regulatory filings and Musk's public statements. S&P data showed that Twitter had less than $600 million in net debt before the takeover talks.
Now, post-acquisition, they have $13 billion in debt, and that's a major burden on their shoulders.
The company last year generated just over $630 million in operating cash flow, while this new debt could potentially swell its interest payments to more than $1 billion a year.
That's a lot of money that they have to pay down with cash. And where are they going to find that cash?
Just 1 week after taking over the company, Musk said in tweets that Twitter had...
So if you missed where the debt came from, so if you remember, we did a video of how Elon financed the way he purchased this business. It's actually a genius way of doing it because he just took out debt on the asset. So the asset has to pay its debt off without it affecting him, which is quite wise. I wish we can all make these deals, man. That's the benefit of having money. Money follows money,
suffered a massive drop in revenue and was losing over $4 million a day. The Journal has reported that a number of big advertisers have paused their spending on the platform. Nearly 90% of Twitter's revenue last year came from advertising.
Analysts have pointed to this being a significant decline in revenue as major companies leave over concerns over what's the future of the business model, what's the vision under Musk.
To make ends meet, Musk has moved quickly to slash costs, including cutting the company's staff by half. Filings showed Twitter had 5,500 full-time employees at the end of 2020 and 7,500 a year later. Based on the company's most recently disclosed median pay figure, The layoffs of about 3,700 people could save Twitter roughly $860 million a year. This represents about 15% of Twitter.
Yo, that's crazy. That's almost $1 billion in savings. It makes you wonder, like, how this business is how they were in. I think I'll do a video that just looks into the obsession with Silicon Valley because these people, the way they run their businesses, I feel is not right. There's something wrong with Silicon Valley and how they've just been able to get away with anything. Because this is almost $1 billion in costs that they were just incurring and not caring. You know, that's crazy.
$5.57 billion in costs and expenses last year.
Analysts have noted that this could do more harm than good because some of the company's most critical engineers and developers and marketers are heading out the door.
The billionaire owner has also been trying to add subscription revenue with the Twitter Blue service, which gives users a blue verified checkmark if they pay $7.99 a month.
It's unclear whether there's enough demand for that, but subscription revenue is potentially a new outlet, a new opportunity to make up for the revenue that's been lost amid the recent advertiser exodus.
In an all-hands meeting with Twitter staff on November 10th, Musk warned that bankruptcy is a possibility for the company. Analysts and academics said even if these financial challenges continue to mount, there could be other options.
He could raise equity, he could buy back debt from lenders, potentially at a very deep discount. In the event that the company does go into bankruptcy, well, this is not Musk's preferred option. Okay? He put $27 billion of his own money in the business, and that likely means that those funds will be entirely wiped out. It remains to be seen what direction he'll take.
I don't think Twitter is gonna end up in bankruptcy. I don't believe it. I think Musk is smarter than that. I think what has to happen is they just have to find different ways of generating revenue. And the main problem that they've been having, and this is a problem that we've been having here in the West, is how companies are operating at this point in time, whereby any social issue, any political issue that happens, it affects businesses, right? So businesses will stop advertising on the platform because the platform is doing some weird stuff, because Elon in this case, I don't know, he was starting to reinstate people over certain comments that they would have made. So now we live in this time period whereby businesses are making social moves. Like if you say something that's, opposed by advertisers move away from your platform. But I think that based off of the user base, I think eventually advertisers will come back because if your revenue streams start to fall off, you have to do what's best for your business. And if you're not advertising on a platform where your clients are, at some point you have a problem. And with a lot of businesses facing one of my favorite words, a fiduciary duty, you would have to go back on Twitter. But I think that the demographic of the Twitter platform, and I think that the challenge that a lot of businesses have faced has been the move by Apple, whereby they stopped apps from tracking you. So I think a lot of social media sites were affected in terms of revenue by that. I read somewhere that it had a significant drop in how effective online advertising has been by that move by Apple. But ultimately, I also feel like what Twitter has to do essentially is just sit down, go back to the basics, and build from there. I think that they have a user base, and I don't think people will leave Twitter. I don't really believe that Twitter would die. I don't know how my video will age, but I don't believe Twitter will die. I think I have enough trust in Elon Musk and his team to build a decent business out of Twitter. I think it will be different. I think if we reflect on Twitter a year or 2 years from now, next year, we'll start to look at it from a different perspective. I think it's going to be a different product from the one that it is. In terms of generating revenue, I think their user base will start paying more. And I think this will be a different move in which a lot of social media sites, because the way these people operate is like they learn from each other. And I think that if he's able to find a way to get everyday people to start paying to use the platform, that will be a game changer for them. And I think if he introduces a way for content creators to make money as well and make Twitter more of a content platform rather than a social media site, that's another way of making money, because I just don't believe in the revenue model for a social media site. Just if all you do is focus on social media without content, without giving people a reason, because I don't think people go on these platforms just to interact with each other. People are constantly looking for things to do, especially if you're riding a train to work or from back. We all have different platforms. I'm not really a fan of TikTok. I think TikTok had a great opportunity. I used to be obsessed with it, but over time I grew tired of it. I think there's something to learn there. One of my favorite platforms is YouTube, but on YouTube I'm mainly here looking for specific things as well. So for me, I like Twitter because it's where I get a lot of my information, but I don't really spend a lot of time on it. So for you, I don't know how you interact with Twitter, but I don't think I'll be paying $8 to get verified unless it helps my brand, unless it helps me in a different kind of way. So yeah, I think they have to focus on that in terms of how can the platform become beneficial for users in terms of advancing their businesses, because we are all pushing our self-interest here. So I think that's the route that Twitter can go in. I don't really see them going bankrupt because I think there's a lot of opportunity in the platform. There's a lot of room, especially with the way that Meta has been messing up. I think Meta has opened up a lot of possibilities for these social media sites. We will do a video on Meta if you guys want me to do it. I think they just Facebook had, I don't know, I keep calling it Facebook. Meta had a big opportunity, but I think what happens with Meta is when you have these billion-dollar CEOs that are not in touch with reality, you start creating products that people don't need, and you stop paying attention to what people actually do need, the needs that they have, and how economies have been shaping and moving. If you're just reading these numbers and you're not really with the people on the streets, you fail to understand that your business is not a need, it's not a necessity, it's just a luxurious thing that people have. And when we're in a recession, I don't really want to be a robot dancing in a virtual reality world. We got real issues that we have to solve, and I think these businesses have the opportunity to help people do that. If Facebook really focused on their Facebook marketplace, I think that is a great opportunity for them. Twitter must consider something as that as well. I don't know, create a marketplace. There's massive opportunity for these tech companies. But the one thing that I'll say is for us, the people, is we should really stop being obsessed with these tech CEOs, because these people will lead us to Armageddon if we're not careful. The way the crypto guys have been doing it. But we should be grateful as well, because we do get to connect, we do get to share. It's not that hard. With that said, I hope you guys got some value from this episode. If you did, smash that subscribe button, leave us a like, leave a comment. I'll definitely be seeing you in the next one.